Welcome back to the Final Whistle Podcast, people. I am Javon and I am your host, and we're back with another edition of the Sideline View. First, before I introduce the boys, I want to apologize for last week's missing episode. After it was recorded, during my editing, I sounded like a transformer. The boys tried to warn me. They tried to warn me. However, I was like, I'll edit it in post. In post, I sounded like I was on the side of the Decepticons, not even the Autobots. I sounded horrific. But let's go. But on with the show. I got a new mic. We're ready to go. In the cup with me, we have Robert to my. I think this is my. For me, this is my left. Welcome, Robert.
Whatever side I'm on. What's up, man?
And to my right, I have Marshall from Casually FC. I don't know why he's wearing a red Santa hat. He could have gotten a blue one. Blasphemy again. But we're here. We're ready to go. What are we saying, Marshall?
Blame Amazon Prime. That's all I gotta say.
Blame Amazon. Amazon, if you want
Jeff
to sponsor
Bezos.
us. Amazon, if
Too
you want to
busy.
sponsor us.
Jeff Bezos too busy ruining Spurs to get my delivery right.
Yeah.
But no. I'm doing all right. Happy to finally be ready to take some time off of work with the holidays now. So yeah, I've been working my ass off for the past month, and I'm just tired, man. I'm tired. So yeah. And,
I feel that.
Yeah,
I feel that. It's a holiday season. But
exactly.
before we get merry, we are coming off a very sounder draw, some might say. Only because we wanted to pick up the 3 points. We wanted to break the voodoo that's been holding us down at Goodison Park. But unfortunately, we didn't get it. So we're going to get... each are going to share our comments on what we thought of the game. And we're going to start off with Robert. What are we saying, man? How do you feel coming off of that draw at Everton?
Nah, man. I think I'm a little more. I'm not as down about the draw as most people are. Simply because, when you apply the full context, we've amassed 16 points out of the last 18. That's a sound return right there, and it's a ground that we've historically struggled at. We might have lost that game, but we came out with a draw at a hard ground. Arsenal, struggle against them at home. We were away at Goodison Park, and so, for all that context, and I just check it was a bad day at the office for our attack, and our defense and goalkeeper, ensure we had a point. There's plenty of games where our defense has not been sound and our attack has bailed us out. This was the other way around, and so we keep it moving. This my opinion will change if we get another draw or we drop points against Fulham. But I'm expecting to win against Fulham, and so if we beat Fulham, this won't be looked at as that terrible of a result considering the opponent, our history on it, and we've won. We were off the back of a 5-game winning streak, and a draw is not the end of the world, man. We keep it moving.
Yeah, I agree. And when you really look at it, against Fulham might be more attacking, so that may even play into our hands. Marshall, what's going on? How you feeling about that Everton draw?
It's a humbler, that's for sure. I think any Chelsea fan at this point saying that we're in a title race, maybe that one is a result that maybe sobers you up a little bit and makes you realize that maybe this team still has some deficiencies. I'm not like Robert. I don't forget the previous results. I kind of stick with them, and they kind of stick with me because they help me realize where my team is at right now.
Yeah.
But hey, it's a disappointing draw for me. Obviously, we're gonna discuss the match and some of the standouts that we're gonna be talking about and dissecting. But yeah, hopefully the boys can pick up from this one, especially against Fulham. That's the one team and this run of games that I was kind of worried about. So, but let's see on Thursday.
Yeah, most definitely. And for me, I gave most of my thoughts on my match review, but differently, a day removed. It's gonna come out tomorrow, but a day removed. I'm looking back at it, and the reason why I think I'm a bit somber about it is simply because once we got a foothold in the game and we started to bop the ball about, we could have gotten away with something more than a draw. And I left the game feeling similar to the United game. Not necessarily that we shot ourselves in the foot, because I fully acknowledge Everton at Goodison Park is no baby. It's not a layup. It's because there's certain things that could have changed where we could have came away with a win. What are those things? Firstly, you could have taken out Palmer. Nothing was going for him. It's just one of those days. Palmer has too much credit in the bank where it's like if you take him off, it's going to be a crime. And again, none of us would take him off at halftime. We're giving him 50, 60 minutes. But try something else. All I'm saying. That's one other thing. I would have tried Felix in the 10. Maybe one of his jinky me jinky, maybe when he nothing makes somebody, it comes off. Because it felt to me it was just one of those days that anything could happen. The only thing that was for sure, the two defenses on that day was rock solid. I give them that. But because we have a lot of attacking outlets and different players that could do different things and different personalities attacking wise, that's why I think certain things could have changed. Noni and Nkunku could have came on earlier. Neto should have never came off. Neto should have been on the left-hand side to try and rinse Ashley Young a bit sooner. And I'm not talking making subs, just simply do a switch between Sancho and Neto because both of them can play both sides. You understand what I'm saying? So maybe at the 50th minute, right? You don't, I'm not saying make subs at there. But what I'm saying is, Mariska, call over Sancho. Yo, switch. You never know. You never know. The pace on Neto could be too much for Ashley Young while he was on, and you could get by him a few times to create more chances. Maybe you switch side and Sancho go over there and just roast the other fullback. You never know. There's certain things that I would have wanted to see. Then I could say, you know what, Mariska tried everything. Everton was just solid on the day, and we move. That's the only reason why. It's not necessarily because Everton didn't do their part. It's just because I feel like we could have done more.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Robert. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I hear that. I mean, hindsight is always, is always a good thing to have when you're sharing.
I was saying this
these
mid-game. I
opinions.
wasn't saying this is not hindsight.
No,
I was
no,
saying this mid-game.
but my point is, I don't think this was a game for Joao Felix, to be honest with you. Simply because he plays for fouls a lot, and the ref wasn't giving us many fouls. We got fouled a hell of a lot. We should
Yeah, I think it was 20 fouls on
we
the
should have had a
day.
pen. A couple of their players should have been on yellows way before they got
Oh,
yellows
Pickford.
and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Jesus.
Yeah. And
That
so
was a horrendous tackle, by the way.
exactly. And so I don't think this was not a because Felix at every touch is gonna roll and stuff, and the ref's gonna be like, no, and we lose possession, and all of a sudden we go from being in attacking position to being a lot more vulnerable than we would be. So with all this, I don't think this was a game for Felix, just considering how the game was being refereed, how physical Everton were being, and how they were just saying let's rough up Chelsea's attackers. Let's rough them up and get them out of rhythm. Every time they're trying to get a couple passes together, foul somebody, step on somebody's toes or something like that. And to be fair, they got the game plan spot on. I don't think anybody that could have come on would have changed the game plan. Could have got in Kunku, he would have been another one who would have been just stepped on and get add muscles, add physical. He's not a physical player. He's not somebody that we can come and say he's gonna add muscles. I don't know, Dokure in the middle of the park. That's not
So
his profile.
sounds like to me you wanted to see Gyu get some minutes, because if it's one thing, Gyu's gonna run. He's gonna
Yeah,
ruffle
no,
some
no,
feathers
yeah.
up front.
Give with a press harder. Maybe if you switch Neto and Sancho side, that means you're gonna have a hell of crosses in the box,
Mhm.
and that's not really the strength of our striking force. And so, I mean, again, I just check it out too. Just by day at the office. Like if you get that pen, if you remember if in the first half Palmer had a chance and he chose to shoot and Neto was wide open on his right hand
Yeah. I
side.
remember.
Like
Yeah.
if he passes, Neto is 1v1 against Pickford, and maybe gets that goal and we 1-0 up. If Jackson heads in, from that corner, we 1-0 up. If
If
Jackson
Jackson puts it to one side,
puts it either side. I think we're fine. We created chances. We played fine. Again, people like to just, oh, let's switch it up, do something, do something. There's also, it's a game that was in balance. Let's not kid ourselves. Everton had their chances. So
Yeah.
there is such thing as we want to win this game, but we sure as hell don't want to lose it. You
Yeah,
know
no,
what I
no, no,
mean?
no, 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 no. I hear
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I'm just saying,
yeah.
at bare minimum, have the two wingers switch sides. Because I understand that putting in crosses is not necessarily your strength, but that doesn't mean you can't try it once or twice. Bro, a 10 minute period,
No,
you
but
put that
again,
and then
no, these are elite managers. And so they're not gonna
Hmm.
just try things for the sake, oh, let me just see how it's gonna pan out. It has to be, I'm doing this because I'm sure the outcome
it's
is
gonna
gonna
work.
be this, this, this. Like you and I, we go on the pitch with, I train a bunch of kids over here, and if I just, hey, just switch
It
sides
is
for the sake of it, there's no,
facts.
yeah, there's no fans, there's no jeopardy. Like these high
Yeah,
level
yeah, yeah,
managers have to be sure if I switch Neto from the right hand side to the left hand side is because I've seen a vulnerability that we can
yeah, yeah,
exploit,
yeah, yeah.
and Neto
Yeah.
is
Hmm.
definitely gonna be a better
Going to
option.
go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
He's
see
not
what
just
you're
gonna
saying.
do something just because, oh, let me try it if it works. That's even the people in the relegation battle don't do that. So
Hmm.
yeah, he's not just gonna do it just for the sake of, oh, let me just try it and see how it works out.
I hear
But
it. I
I
hear it,
think,
but we've seen him done something like this before. It's not like I'm saying do something you never done before. That's my take on it. A 5 minute spell because you know it done before and it worked in other games. Nothing you've done so far is working. It's a risk and reward thing. But let me hear what you have to say, my friend.
but I feel like, we're talking about the wingers and swapping them out and doing this and that, but I don't think that the issue was necessarily our wingers. I think the issue was Cole Palmer today or
Mm.
yesterday. And we have to have an honest discussion that, just because Cole Palmer has done all this for us in the past and last season he was phenomenal doesn't mean he's void of criticism. And
Or
I think,
substitution.
or
Say it as it is.
substitution. And the thing is, Cole Palmer had our most chances created. People are saying that and all that, like 3 chances created against an Everton side. Let's be honest, that's not really
That's not
good.
a flex, bro.
That's
Honestly,
not
that's not a
really
flex.
like it's
That's
really
not a
not
flex.
like.
That's not a
And
flex.
and I know people want to crash it on Jackson for the chances that he missed and all that. And I
Mm.
know there's criticism to be had about Jackson. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But at the end of the day, when I'm coming out of Everton saying I only gave my striker 2 chances, that's not good. That speaks a
Yeah.
lot on the attack. And
Yep.
I think the main issue was Cole Palmer. And I hate to say this because I know he's not this player. And I'm just referring to this game alone. I'm isolating this game alone.
Mm.
This game, for me, was so reminiscent of the type of games Mason Mount would have for Chelsea, where it's you're trying to do everything. You're trying to pass the ball. You're not even looking where you're passing it. And you're seeing a through ball that Jadon Sancho's not even making a run for. You're shooting the ball and you're missing the target completely when you have Neto over here or Sancho to pass it to. You're
Mhm.
crossing, you're making the cross, and the cross is going
Yeah, your
out to
corners
the
is
goalkeeper.
going from one way
And,
to the next.
and how many times have we sat in front of our screens saying, Mount, what are you doing? And that, for me, I was so frustrated. The second half more so than the first half for Cole, because the first half I think was his better half. But the second half, I'm just thinking, Cole, you are being so wasteful. And that is one thing that I criticize and lambasted Mount over. Now, I'm emphasizing, because I know I looked at Javon's eyes and he was like, whoa. Listen,
It shouldn't be the same
it,
sentence, bro. But I get
I
what you
know.
said.
I understand. It's just this game. And I understand that all these players deserve to have an off day. But when we want to be honest about it, and this is also Maresca, when he has games like that, you
Sub him,
have to
sub
sub
him,
him off.
take
And
him off.
I think this game is a big criticism of Maresca as well. To wait
Definitely.
until what, the 75th minute to make any
78,
substitution?
78, brother. 78 minutes.
78th. It's like, bro, like, I understand you don't want to lose the match. I get that and I respect that, because I think some of the best Premier League winning teams, the Premier League winning sides that have ever played in this league, those are the ones that are tough to beat.
Yeah,
right?
the basic is not to lose the game. So we get that.
Exactly. And that's how a lot of teams go on to win the league. They just don't lose. They obviously win as well, but they don't lose. And I mean, look at Xabi Alonso last season. But it comes to a point where it's like, okay, listen, you're not up against Liverpool. You're up against Everton.
Bro, I was thinking the exact same thing.
You can take the risk with João Felix. You can bring on Nkunku for a little bit longer, because I disagree with Robert on this. I think Nkunku, being the experienced player that he is, like I don't understand why people want to bring in Guiu, because Guiu is 18. Bro, they're going to look at him and just be like, we're going to rough this guy up. We're going to show you, welcome to the Premier League. You know, like, they're going to pull his hair. They're going to fucking push him. They're going to rough him up. And so you bring on someone who is a little bit more, sturdy, more built like an Nkunku. I think Nkunku probably could have done a little bit more if he had more time. But that's if ands or buts, right? So
the substitution at Bournemouth, that game felt like the Bournemouth game to me, just a bit. Right? So I'm looking for you to make that sub that's going to have an impact. And we'll talk about the impact of the subs, because there's this thing on Noni is it's wild, bro. But the reason why I firmly agree with you, Marshall, is not like the people you are bringing on, they're scrubs. That's my issue with it. I hear it if when we look at the bench, we only have CDMs and DMs and centre backs. No, we have players that can do a job, quality job even, in the same position. And if you have a guy that's just not on it at all, take him off. No. And even if you don't trust those people on the bench, you're tactical enough to create a slight change in the system. Right? I bet you, I genuinely, if Lavia was fit, I can't ever say if Lavia was fit, you could hook up Palmer and put on Lavia and then have Enzo play a bit further forward. I can't ever say that, because normally those three play together along with Palmer, and I've never seen him substitute Palmer when he's having a bad game. But and this was Palmer's worst game. So if you're not gonna sub him here, when are you going to take him off?
I think we need to apply some context on this. And this Palmer is still a very young player, and he's a player that, whether you like it or not, still he got some pressure to live up to somewhat of what he did last season. And the last time he faced Everton, he scored 4. And so this is what
at home,
one thing. Yeah, but at home away, it's still Everton
in better weather, to be fair as well.
Exactly, but the point overall is it's something that needs to learn, that let the game come to you rather than you trying to force things. And he's a young player, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I think the player, we believe it or not, that we missed the most in this game, that could have came and possibly be a game changer, is Mudryk. Like Mudryk either could give. No, hear me out.
Okay, I'm hearing.
Remember the Bournemouth?
Metapolis a long time. So
remember the Bournemouth game? Who started? Is it Mudryk that started left wing?
No, Sancho. Yeah. Sancho played left wing.
No, Sancho came with Nkunku.
Neto played left wing. Neto started left wing.
Did Mudryk start and then got hooked at halftime?
No.
That game? Or am I thinking of a different game?
No, you're thinking about the Liverpool game where Sancho got hooked at halftime. It was Neto and Noni.
That started the Bournemouth game.
Yep.
Okay. So my point is, once you've gotten the defender tired, like Neto has run the defender into the ground, then you bring in Sancho with the tricks and flicks and to destabilize the street. But Ashley Young, the moment he won the first challenge against Sancho, he was like, yeah. I might be 39, but I think I can handle myself, because he's smart. He used to be a winger himself. And so I think bringing on the pace of Mudryk on that side after Ashley Young had been tired, that would have been useful than switching Neto on the other side. This is why I'm one of the proponents of bringing in a left winger this January, just because of that. Assuming what the case of Mudryk result in him not being available for the rest of the season. But I think having him come off the bench, even the way he did against Forest, like Forest retired and the game had become open, which will happen against Everton. They started chasing the game as well, trying to chase the win when he did those three substitutions. They started chasing the win. And that is when I believe Mudryk would have been more useful to come in and impact with his speed. And he's quite composed in with his passes in the final third and his crosses, whether it's left or right footed.
So here's the thing. I hear it. But given that, I can't even say I hear, but given that Mudryk was not available, right? Neto is faster than Sancho. At least give it a try. Your whole argument still goes back to my original argument, which is put someone with pace on that side. Try and wash him at least twice. Say to Neto, hey, I want you to switch and I want you to try and rinse the daylight out of Ashley Young. Remember, your argument against that was, no, you don't want to necessarily change too much, and if you don't see that, it's definitely going to work. I'm talking from a fan perspective and an analytic fan perspective. What we could have done better in the game? I was screaming at this mid game because I'm seeing this and I'm saying it's Ashley Young. It's not prime Ashley Young. It's a 39, 40-year-old man. Why can't we try to use youth versus, the elderly? At least try. I'm not saying, and this is still not me saying that Ashley Young still couldn't probably do a job against Neto. But I'm just saying, try someone that's very direct and that's going to use his pace. And then on the other side, try Sancho. They want to double up on Sancho. Look how much times we've seen people double up on Sancho and he still gets by him. On the right-hand side, they were trying to double up and triple up over there. On the left-hand side, it was mostly Ashley Young and one other person from time to time. It wasn't as close together when they tried to double up on the other side. So that's why I wanted to see the switch. And if you're saying Mudryk would have came in at that point, you're simply saying put pace over there. It still goes back to my point.
No, but you put pace, but it's somebody that has the ability to cut inside as well. So he offers threats on both sides. He can offer threats going and running, straight down the line, and he can offer threat cutting inside, which is what Everton is very strong, in the air. And so we were trying to get them mostly in the middle through our penetration in the middle. And I think the change that I think would have been the more likely or the more effective would have been Disasi off, Gusto right back, Viega in as left back, and Viega inverts. That I think, and Gusto overlapping Neto and whatnot, because Neto is getting double up. Now, if Gusto starts to overlap, then that and then you push Enzo forward, as we've seen. I could hear that argument, but just saying switch attackers, one attacker to another, switch side to side. I just think that a coach needs to be 100% certain that it's gonna work before they make that switch.
In my match preview, I actually had Vega started for that exact same reason because I knew, because I knew whoever is on the right hand side is going to need that support, and obviously Palmer needed that support as well.
And that's the thing. Like, I think I was really shocked with Robert saying Mudryk because I thought you were going to say what I was thinking. I think the player that was missed the most in this match was Cucurella. Obviously, because you see, and this is what frustrates me about Maresca's decisions is that listen, we saw Gusto against Liverpool, and it was a failed experiment. We've seen Gusto play on that left side a few times this season, and it's a failed experiment. And multiple times this season, we've seen, unlike Pochettino, where this manager sees something doesn't work and he stops it. And I was just shocked to see that, bro, you have someone in Renato Vega that
can do a job.
That he can do a job. I understand it's been a bit. I understand the physicality, the Premier League, it's different. And I know when he has played in the Premier League, where, by the way, to put context to it, he started in the midfield instead of inverting.
Yeah, so that was still on you, Maresca.
Yeah, he struggled a bit. But for me, it's like you have someone that the club scouted specifically for your system that you have as a backup to Cucurella, yet you insist on putting Malo Gusto, who you've seen struggle on that side. You're still struggling on his own side. from time to time, and he was arguably one of the worst players on the pitch, and you can tell that Sancho definitely needed a Cucurella to help him
Yeah, he
link up, do
needed
the
that support.
1-2, and
Needed that
Malagusta was
support.
just not providing that for him. And you could argue that that's also what affects Cole Palmer, because Cole Palmer now doesn't have Enzo Fernandez in the 10 pocket
Yeah,
where
because
he would
Palmer
normally be.
Sanchez Fernandez had to drift over to help
Yeah.
Sancho.
Yeah, and Fernandez he was a box to box that game versus being more of a 10 where he's been in recent times. And mind you, Fernandez I think was one of the better players of the
Was
match.
the bro.
Yeah,
He was the only one that
trying.
could. He was the only
He-
one, bro.
yeah, he was trying really hard to make things happen, but you can only do so much. And I think it doesn't matter if it was Mudryk, it doesn't matter if it was Neto, it doesn't matter if it's Sancho. If you're missing a player like Cucurella, who's been so pivotal to all these games for Jadon Sancho or for that left side, they're going to struggle. And I understand Ashley Young, he's older. You would think, Jadon Sancho puts the burners on, but we've seen Thiago Silva. We've seen
Exactly.
experience and positioning. Sometimes you
Smart.
just know where to be. And like you, one of you guys said, Ashley Young used to be a winger. He knows what the game is. He knows what Jadon Sancho's trying to do. He knows Jadon Sancho's trying to beat him on the run. He's already thinking 3 steps ahead. And on top of that, you saw the game, guys. We saw how many fouls. Sean Dyche, we know this is Sean Dyche ball. He likes to play the dark side of the game. He likes to get down and dirty, proper Brexit ball. So we knew it was going to be a dirty game on that side, and not having a proper left back support or a left back that can invert, I think really, really, really messed this up for Maresca.
Yeah. And last point on this before we move along here. I think Mariska, you have to start trusting some of your players. Like
Yeah.
Robert was the one who stated that Renata Vega can potentially be a better signing than California. And from what I've seen from him, both in the conference league and the time that he played in the league, because when he played in the league, for me, he still played well. For the price we paid for him, he played well, right? I genuinely think you gotta start trusting some of these guys. Like he's a backup left back for a reason. He can easily invert. You played him in midfield. You played him at center back. This man is one of your players that can play multiple positions. So I just wish we saw that change from him. I don't know if he didn't want to make too much changes to the back line, but for me, I
think
really wanted Vega to be in
I
there.
think one of the main reason is he values counter pressing a lot, and Cucurella is like the primary. As soon as we lose the ball, he's the number one that because he's got that profile. He's agile, he's quick, and the only other profile you could see in our team is Gusto. That's
Mhm.
that agile, quick, and can win the ball back that quickly. And so I get the thinking that okay, as soon as there's a turnover, we are stopping any counter attack. We're having Gusto right there as a trigger for counter pressing. As much as we love Vega, Vega is just not that profile. He's big,
Mhm.
he's not slow, but he's not as quick and agile as Gusto and Cucurella. So I get Moresca's thinking on that end. But still, if there was one change that I think I would have made, it would have been, bringing on Vega for Disasi and then putting Gusto on the side. And then you would have had to either invert Vega or
Mhm.
just let him overlap and Fernandez and Casedo stay at the base of
Mhm.
of the attack and the midfield. And so
Yeah.
that would have been I think those changes, just changing from the back and on a fullback, would have been a lot more effective than just
Mhm.
saying bring on in Cook early, taking on take off Palmer and for Joao Felix. I think the fullback would have been a lot more, which he highlights the importance of Cucurella in this
Mhm.
team,
Mhm.
and so I think that's what Moresca is trying to, because we've been one of the best teams at stopping counter attacks in the whole
Mhm.
league, and partly it is because how aggressive Cucurella is at
Mhm.
winning the ball back as soon as we lose it, and
Mhm.
Gusto is the only other one that does that, and I get
Yeah.
Moresca's thinking on that.
Yeah, most definitely. What do you guys think about Tosin's? performance because I love, bro.
Dude.
I didn't realize you could play those passes, bro. Because some of the passes, even though it didn't come off, you can see the vision and you can see the accuracy. He played one where he kind of like stepped in to the middle of the park and it went through the end. Bro, the pass split the entire midfield, but Sancho didn't make the run. Sancho didn't make the ball. Literally killed everybody, even our own players. Shoo! And I'm like, Sancho, you better be on that, Sancho, bro. Tossing for me, Fofana, you got work to do, brother. You got work to do.
Mojo could have got that.
Here we go.
I'm just saying.
Fun fact. The Sassi is able to do those as well. I think I've always seen and known that like Tosin is capable of doing it. We've seen him try it before as well. Like even against Liverpool, I've seen him try to make those breaking passes. And I think that comes with trust. That comes with being comfortable with the system and being comfortable with the players you're playing around. And that's going to take something that's going to take time to build. And, you know, even this season, I remember last season when we got to Sassi, one of the reasons that I was kind of excited about him is because he was going to be that Thiago Silva profile in terms of being able to ping it and play make from the back, not caliber defending. All right, before you get on me, I mean in terms of like being able to set the tempo, do what kind of Jorginho did from the center back position, and he has those stats coming from Monaco, but we never saw that at Chelsea. And then in this season, the Sassi started to express that a little more in some of the games, in the Conference League games and in the Carabao Cup games. So Tosin, he also has that in his chamber. He can do that as well. And this was one of those games where he was able to feel more comfortable doing that and have more confidence in doing that. And for me, Tosin needed this game. Yeah. Tosin needed this game because, in my opinion, I think he gets way too disrespected by the Chelsea fan base. I really do. I don't understand why, because I don't feel like he's been... I don't feel like he's had like a bozo moment like we've seen with the Sassi or Badiashile. But I also understand that he's not been super effective. Like he hasn't like gotten stuck in like a Colwell or a last ditch saving tackle on like, you know, yesterday. But I feel like he still has something to give to the team if he's given a shot and a run of consistent games. I still feel like there's a pretty good center back there. But people are impatient and they don't want to wait to see what he could do in the right circumstance. And obviously, yesterday against Everton was that circumstance he needed. We see the caliber of defender he could be, just like against Man City and the Sassi, we've seen the caliber of defender the Sassi can be. Mm-hmm. So if you can just get that more consistent out of him, then we have a good defender. We just have to be patient as a fan base. So I think he needed that game. He deserved the plaudits. Man of the match is between him or Sanchez for me.
Yeah. I'll let Robert go ahead and then give my thoughts on Dustin.
Yeah, man. I wholeheartedly agree, man. I think Disasi and Tosin get a lot of disrespect from this fan base. I don't know, maybe because they're in love with the idea of who Fofana used to be, and maybe Fofana could get back to that level. But I've said this from day one. I don't think Fofana is a Moresca center back just because he does not have the same ability to play those passes in between the lines. People rave that, oh, he can step out, he can carry the ball. Yeah, but I think line breaking passes are way more effective and way more dangerous than somebody just carrying the ball. And so I'm a big fan of I'm not, I rate them to some degree as good, solid center back that can do a job. I mean, not ones that you can say, oh, we're gonna go win the league with Tosin or Disasi, but those that can do the job. And people undervalue the trait of the durability of a center back. Mm-hmm. Like you would say what you say about Tosin or say what you say about Disasi. Was the last time Disasi missed a game because he was injured? Like, was the last time Disasi was not available? The guy is always
reliability.
Is always reliable. You call him up to play right back, he will do a job. He might give you a 6 out of 10, might give you a 7 out of 10 performance, but he will be there and he will be solid. He will do a job. when we have injury to Rich James or Gusto is picking up a knock, you can call on Disasi to say, "Hey, come and play," and he will do a job. He'll try the best he can, and be effective. And so I think the disrespect on these guys is way over. And they are the two biggest leaders in that changing room. Like
True.
Fernandez does not get back on the good side with the other French players if Disasi didn't
Without
step
them.
in. Without Disasi,
Oh God, that is
Mhm.
such a good point.
you
Yeah.
you have like those. He's French, so he's the one of those that should have been even more offended. But he's like, you know what? I need to do what's best for the team here, and I need to reconcile, everybody with Fernandez to the point where everybody got comfortable to Fernandez being the pseudo captain of the team
Mhm.
now, and
Mhm.
so and rightfully so. And so, people underestimate the value of having that level of player and somebody that's in the dressing room, a center back, big, looks like you don't want to mess with them. You don't want to mess with Tosin.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you don't
Mhm.
want to mess with Disasi either. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so
Mhm.
I value what they bring to the table way more than others do, and I think
I
they're
agree.
great and they did the job against a
Mm-hmm.
very strong side, man. Yeah.
And with
Yeah.
the Sassi
Mhm.
specifically too, before you go, John, I'm sorry. I just want to point out this one thing too. He's been being forced to play out of position for most of the season.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I always said that. I always said that. Anytime the Sassy comes into the starting 11 or when he's playing, they always play him as like a right back or in the
Mm-hmm.
wide position. I would like to see what he does as a center back. You know.
Yeah.
Um, regarding Tosin, listen. If you can give me these performances, I'll take it all day. And he could even be a title winning defender. Because some of
Mm.
the composure I saw from him at the back yesterday, and granted, Everton was awful attacking wise. So I want to see him when he's up against a team that's actually going to come at Chelsea and try.
Mm-hmm.
The composure and the line breaking passing and the physicality that he adds, immense for me, right?
Agreed.
The thing regarding the fan base is our fan base is very impatient, and I don't think they know how to give people time because it was for me. I think it was unfairly judged because what game time did he have? And if you know football, centre backs need time to gel. One with their partner, and
Mm-hmm.
two, how to be comfortable in that position before you can see the best version of them in that centre back role. So he had to do that and he didn't really get the time to do so given the circumstances with the Fofana being the starter and whatnot. And he's
Mm-hmm.
older than Colwell, so maybe this could be a blessing in disguise. Not wishing injury on our players or anything, but this could be genuinely a blessing in disguise, and I hope it is.
Yeah, man, and also aerially, bro, they're the two most aerially dominant center backs that we have, in the
Facts.
air. And so,
This is true.
like when the cross comes in and we have Fofana and Colwell, I'm like, oh God, please win this. But when it's tossing and decides, I'm like, yeah, no, they got that. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
there's
is
a
true. That
certain
is
level
true.
of confidence that you have. Like, it's so it's when it's Colwell and Fofana, I'm like, oh my God, Sanchez just come and claim this one because I don't trust the other two center back to be aerially dominant. But when it's Disasi and Toast, I'm like, yeah, either
From the air,
those two go,
they're
yeah,
not doing anything from the air.
they're either gonna deal with it or
Mm,
Sanchez is gonna
yeah.
deal with it. I'm not worried, about aerial threats from the opposition. And we saw it against Everton. They tried to do everything. It's just like everything that was coming in, Tosin was getting at it. And if Tosin misses, if Tosin is not there, you got Sanchez that will come and claim it comfortably. And so aerially, bro, that's one aspect I don't worry about with those two when they play. So yeah,
Yeah, and the partnership could be like I said, the older head with a young buck and someone that's a bit more physical and early dominant with someone that's better at playing out the ball from the back. And they
hmm
both can play the ball out from the back, whether it's a
yeah,
line breaking pass or a switch cross pass. So I'm just hoping that this partnership actually works out. America sticks with it for a longer period of time so that it can
yeah.
gel better. Now,
Mm-hmm.
moving on. People got their 40 minutes of us talking Chelsea, right? Liverpool.
Oh
Liverpool.
God,
Robert. I love this song. Robert,
yes,
you said Liverpool was lucky, bad man.
yeah. I stand by it. Do you want me to be impressed by them beating Spurs 6-3?
No, but these are some of the things that make us not in the title race. We drew
Yeah,
today and they picked up points. They go on. They're back. They're 4 points clear with a game in hand. You can call it
yeah.
7 points.
The other week they drew and we picked up points. This is how this goes. I'm not impressed. Like I don't know if I was most I thought our game were gonna be stronger. Like if you gave me Everton or Spurs, who you want to face?
Spurs. I'll
Even
take Spurs.
even
I'm not
yeah,
gonna
Spurs,
lie.
yeah, Spurs away or
Yeah.
Everton away. Who am I trying to face?
Spurs.
Ask
Yeah,
No,
I
no,
Liverpool.
think
no. It's true.
Spurs.
It's
No,
true. It's
ask
true.
Liverpool.
Especially those Spurs,
Yeah,
because those Spurs only had Archie Gray and Dragusin. They had a
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
weaker lineup than
Yeah, yeah,
us.
and
yeah.
ask
That
and
Spurs.
and
That
ask
Spurs has shit and shittier at the defense.
yeah,
So
ask
Yeah.
ask Liverpool. Ask Liverpool. Would they rather face Everton away or Spurs away? So
they're gonna. They're gonna.
Spurs is a guarantee win. When you're a big team and you play Spurs, except Man City, it's like you play your relegation team. Like you're gonna pick up 3 points.
Damn. Damn.
Damn.
Like
Damn.
against the Spurs in a high line, you're gonna pick up 3 points. So I
Hmm.
don't sit here and be, oh no, let me be impressed because they beat Spurs. I'm
Well,
I'm
I had to
I'm,
ask a
I'm less
question. I had to
I'm
ask a
less
question.
impressed that they conceded 3 goals. They conceded 3 legit
That's
goals against
true.
Spurs.
They're
We
not happy
conceded
about that either.
we conceded 2 because Kukurea slipped. They
Facts.
conceded 3.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah,
The three
that is
goals,
true.
the 3 goals Liverpool, Cook Robert, because the 3 goals Liverpool Spurs score were 3 legitimate goals. That they're quality goals too, quality goals.
I'm saying that.
But yeah, if Kukurea didn't slip, that's a 4-0 win. I'm just saying, put that out there. Like
Yeah.
up there, Charles.
I don't disagree. I don't
Uh,
disagree.
yeah, but when we're making a Liverpool, do you think let's have this title race talk and we'll give I do oh crap the episode got cancelled, so we have to reiterate our thoughts on the title race again. But
True.
before we get to that, what are we saying? Let's say we're gonna perpetuate this title race talk. Could we catch Liverpool?
I mean, I had this discussion with Robert over on my channel, the Chelsea Hour show, and Robert puts up some good points. Obviously, I'll let him express those points. But where I stand with this whole title race thing is obviously I want to wait till the end of December, right? But, gun to the head, if you ask me right now, especially after this Everton game, I just don't think this team is ready. I don't think the team is in a title race. Not to say I don't believe in my club and I don't believe in this team and I don't think this team could do it. I think there is a possibility that this team could win it, right? We have the talent. There are good players there.
Mm-hmm.
On their day, I even got to give it to Sanchez, bro. On
Mm-hmm.
their day, Sanchez has been decent for the last 3 games, and he
Don't do
saved
it.
us in the
Don't
last
do
game.
not do it. I know what you're thinking, and if you say it, Rob, you know what? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, no.
You didn't see his tweet this morning. You didn't see his tweet yesterday.
No,
and
I
this
didn't
morning,
see
no.
his tweet.
That's
no.
why.
But where I stand with this is that, I think we could win the league with this team. I'm not saying we can't, but I'm looking at the Crystal Palace draw. I'm looking at the United draw.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the Everton draw. Not so much the losses, right? The loss against Liverpool, the loss against City. Those were losses that, okay, maybe Liverpool, we could have gotten a draw out of it. Man City, we weren't ready. It's more so those smaller teams that decide whether or not you're going to win a race. And sorry, United, but from 13th place, you're a small team right now. But it's those matches where I need to see your mentality. I need to see if you guys are going to get down and dirty and really, really, really fight for that 3 points and really, I don't care how I do it. I don't care how I win, but I'm going to win. And I just didn't see it. And this is another one of those games. And mind you, I think this Everton game was a little bit more difficult to win than the previous ones just due to the circumstances, the weather, and how horrific it was for them. I just look at these games and I'm like, damn. And it's not just the players, by the way. It's also the manager. I look at these games and I'm thinking, okay, there's going to be more of this down the road where we're going to be disappointed with a result. And I just think a winning team, a team that is in the race, knows that they're in the race, picks up their their mentality and goes for it. And when there's results like that, it doesn't happen again. Like they win very, very convincingly. And
So
we have the depth as well. Not to go on for much longer, but like you look at Liverpool and how they drop points, you could probably say it's because Konate's missing.
mhm.
And that's a big part of it. But once he comes back, I think they're straight. Like the issues are fixed and they're back to where they're going until something else happens. What happens in January when they get more players and have more depth? So I just don't see us in the title race as of now. We'll see at the end of December.
Mhm. Robert, what about? Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
Ah, I mean, this is see one of the things that frustrates me about some Chelsea fans is the overly praise toward Liverpool because I personally despise Liverpool more than any other. It used to be United,
Proper
now it's
Chelsea,
Liverpool. I can't stand I
Proper Chelsea.
cannot stand Liverpool, and so the every issue you just spoke of, you can make the same exact point for Liverpool, like against Fulham. You are at home against probably the best crowd ever. You win that game at all costs. But they drew against Newcastle. Yes, you missing Konate, but you do not concede 3 goals against a Newcastle who, granted, they're picking our form, but they're not world beaters like we beat them.
Yeah. At
So
the time, they were not on the best form. You're right.
yeah,
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 yeah.
and so every case that you make, we drew against Everton. Liverpool fans were scared about going to Everton if it didn't get cancelled. I believe they would
They would have struggled in that
they
game,
would have
by the way.
struggled in that game,
Yeah.
and probably would have dropped point in that game as well. Now we had just come off of a 5 game winning streak. We drew against Everton, a team historically that we struggled against. Now, our next few fixtures, I believe we pick up the easier fixtures than Everton, and we keep pick up points. Fulham, they're missing a bunch of players, and you got
Ipswich.
Ipswich. It's Ipswich. So I'm expecting 3 points, 6 points out of
Those two.
those two fixtures to start with. And so,
Mhm.
I mean, are we in the title race? Again, I've said this before. I believe we are. Are we favored to win the title? No. Liverpool is. But I don't think, as you described, like when you need to win the game, you make sure you win that game. I don't
Mhm.
think there's any team this season that is capable of that. Like if you're facing adversity and you have to win the game, you're going to win the game. Like City over a couple years ago, yes, they were that team. Like they went to Everton and struggled and struggled and struggled, and somehow Rodri pulled out a 1-0 win. And they got out of there with 3 points and kept on moving. That team was capable of doing it. I don't think there's any team this season that can say, "Oh, we can go to any ground and we make sure that at least we don't lose the game, and we're capable of winning, no matter whether it's a hard game or no matter whether we own it or not." I think that there are, this season every team has their
Flaws.
flaw. Every team has their
Hmm.
flaws, and so you can say Liverpool they're missing Konate. Yes, that's the flaw. It's the squad depth. Like if Salah picks up an injury, like Saka just did for Arsenal, it's
Hmm.
it's curtains. He's responsible for 75% of the goals. Now, Can Jota pick up 40% of that 75%? Yes, but there's still 35% that's going to be missing from Salah if he goes missing. Now, if Salah drops performances by 10% and is going a game without scoring, do you think Arne Slot is hooking up Salah? No, he's going to be continue to play, in the hope that he's going to pick up a G or an A somewhere. But the overarching point is Liverpool has their flaws just like we do. They are favored to win it. Are they a stronger, more experienced team? Yes. But I believe I've seen enough from Liverpool in years past, where the second half of the season, They're just not as strong as they were in the first half of the season. And me personally, I think they're gonna drop more points in the second half of the season than they have in the first half of the season. And me, where I'm sitting here as a Chelsea fan, I just want to be able to say, if Liverpool drops the ball, I'm the one that's there to pick it up. And that is
Mm,
my title race. You drop it, I'm picking it up.
mm.
That's the race I'm
And I'm
in.
moving.
I'm
Yeah,
in the I'm
yeah.
in the race that if you drop the ball, I'm the one there to pick it up. Not Arsenal, not Forest, not City. If you drop the ball, which I believe Liverpool might, I want Chelsea to be the one to pick it up and not be like, oh, you dropped it. Oh no, we gotta wait until
Take it up and give
you
it
pick
back
it
to
up
you.
again. Yeah, no. You drop it, we pick it up, and we're gone.
Yeah,
That's
ball
that's the
thief.
that's the race I'm in.
Yeah, that reminds me of like when they're Jamaican people would know when they're playing cricket in the Caribbean, bro, and you have the little tennis ball. If you slap it away and you slap it over in someone's yard and they pick it up, that's it. You're not seeing that tennis ball no more. But in my opinion, when it comes on to this title race thing, I said to you boys last week, and I'll say it again, and I said this on Louis Street. Miss me with the title race nonsense. The title race is for everybody else to look at. Me as a Chelsea fan in this position, I'm locked in, tunnel vision. I can't even see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I see down the road? I see darkness and more roads to come.
Damn.
Simply put, locked in three points at a time. I didn't get 3 points, but I didn't lose 3 points. I still picked up a point. You know where my focus is at? No, we're 4 points behind Liverpool. With 3 points again at Arsenal. No, my focus is Fulham. Get me 3 points on Thursday. Get me to safety, right? At safety. Get me to top six. At top six, get me to top four. People, I'm not talking about league position, I'm talking about points. Accumulate as much points as possible. What does that do? That constituting to what Robert is saying. Pick up as much points as possible. If the whoever's above you starts to drop points and you still are accumulating as much points as possible, eventually you're going to catch them, and eventually you may move past them if depending on how they move. But I'm focused on Chelsea, and that's it. Chelsea, nothing else, nothing more. Chelsea, 3 points or a point. Just don't lose no game. And that's why when I give my analysis, it's because of things I see that could have been tried, that could have may resulted in turning 1 point into 3. But we're talking about the Liverpool perspective. Liverpool, Arne Slot, good job, good job. It's not necessarily about the win at Spurs, but more so you going in knowing, hey, the closest person that was breathing down my neck dropped points earlier. We need to pick up this dub. Because it could have easily
Yeah.
went the other way. Spurs did score 3 goals. It was 2-1 at one point. You know? But when you actually look at the game and take the game in context, they bopped Spurs off the park, bro.
It's Spurs, bro. It's not impressive. It's Spurs.
Man,
It is
yo.
Spurs. Like, did you really think that Spurs had any chance of getting at least a point in that game?
Bro, I expected Liverpool to win, but Spurs is Spursy, bro. On the other side of Spurs being Spursy, they can be really good. And they can beat anyone when they're really good. You cannot deny that.
Like, look, even when they got it 2-1, did you see them celebrate? They knew, like, we just score one goal, but we gotta get bopped. Like,
That's
man,
how
go
you
score
look
one
at
goal. Like, I'm
it.
serious. Normally, people score one goal, they run and get the ball back, and then okay, let's get going again. But let's score one goal and just run and just high five as if it's a cancellation goal. It's 2-1 before halftime. You
Mhm.
celebrate and like, come on, guys, let's go again. But even
Mhm.
Spurs didn't think they're gonna win that game. So I don't know. Personally, I don't think beating Spurs now it's impressive, bro. I mean, United almost beat them in the Carabao Cup.
That is true. And
That
then
is true.
I guess that's the wrong opposition to kind of try and pull
Yeah,
something
exactly.
from.
If it was somebody more impressive, I'd be like, you know what? If they bop Everton 6-2, 6-3 at Goodson Park, I'd be like, you know what? Respect.
Yeah, the
Spurs.
league is yours at that point,
Yeah,
right?
Spurs, bro. Everybody
It's
gonna beat
Spurs.
Spurs. Even Ipswich beat Spurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, listen. I get it, but I gotta give kudos to
Arnie?
Arne Slot, because it's not just really about beating Spurs. It's more so how he's getting his team to play and how quickly he's done it, with the only transfer being like Chiesa, right?
Mm.
And Dominic Soboslai, who I thought was such a waste of money, who I thought was such a flop for them, how he's done a 180 this season for them. That's, you got to give Arne Slot credit for that. That's impressive.
Okay.
How Gravenberch has done a 180 as well. You know, we have it as well with Maresca, but you know, there's also Darwin Núñez. I don't think you can work miracles either, Arne Slot, but
Yeah, man.
you know, time will tell.
He's not a magician.
Yeah,
Let me ask.
I know Christmas is tomorrow, but you know.
Let me ask you this question then.
Yeah.
If Arne Slot can do this with this Liverpool team, does that mean Jurgen Klopp was a bit overrated?
No, hell no. Brother, stop it.
No. I kind of agree. No, Javon, I'm going on this side.
No. I'm not
I'm going
having
on
no
this side.
Jurgen Klopp disrespect. But man, are you guys what? Do you guys remember what he did at Liverpool? That man had to rebuild the entire squad. Yes.
Yeah, and that's exactly my point. Like, you need to rebuild the entire squad to be competitive. Arne Slot just came in with no transfer and he's top of the league.
Listen,
Maresca just came in a team that finished barely sixth last season and is second in the league.
Listen, I'm not hearing it, bro. There's in footballs. Let me finish. In footballs, there's cycles, right? In football, there's cycles. You can build a team, but there comes a point where some players in the team might be frustrated with your tactics, which I think that's what happening in City right now. The players can be frustrated with their tactics. The players can be tired, or your style of play that you implement can become stale after a while, which is why you see certain managers, when they're at long stints at multiple clubs, Simeone, for example, you start to rotate out some of your core players. Like, you try to ship them here, transfer there, and you're getting new players that's more impressionable to your style of play, right? Especially if it's been successful in the past. I think that's what happened to Jurgen Klopp. Now, when Arne Slot came in and introduced a similar style of play, but different in terms of the defensive aspect and how he manages the games, it's going to be on board now, because you're getting new instructions, you're learning stuff. Multiple defensive players came out and said it's nice to work with a coach that's actually going to teach you how to defend. Number one who said that, Trent Alexander-Arnold. And then you see the different style of play. So I think that's genuinely what happened. Jurgen Klopp is not overrated. Do
you think anybody in Liverpool fan base or Liverpool player miss Jurgen Klopp right now?
Yeah, I think they do, because they did a lot for that club, bro. He did a lot for that club, bro. First title in 30 years. Champions League. Could have won more.
Yeah.
The only reason why I didn't win
exactly.
But the only reason why I did it was because of City. Bro, 97 points, 98 points.
No.
What are we doing here?
No, see, you are adding excuses. If you are in that, you think Mourinho wouldn't have gotten Liverpool across the line in those years? You think Mourinho would have won only one title during this span?
No, I'm not answering that question.
No. I'm not. Do you think Tuchel would have won only one title in this span?
I mean,
do you think Ancelotti?
It's kind of hard to do.
Do you think Ancelotti would have won only one title in this span?
No. I know Ancelotti would have brought home a bit more.
Okay, then. So why is Jurgen Klopp an elite manager when he only won one title in 8 years?
Because he won titles at Dortmund. What? He won Champions League? You're not gonna come here and discredit that Klopp, bro.
No. He's won one European final in 5 tries. He lost Europa League final.
Revisionism is that son of a.
I'm telling you, he lost 2 times.
I know the stats.
He lost 2 times against Real Madrid, and both times I can argue he was the favorite. The only manager he's beaten in the final is Mauricio Pochettino. Does that impress you? Who hasn't beat in the final?
And it's Spurs.
I am not a clown.
I mean, listen, I can't disagree with Robert too much. Obviously,
No, when you put it like that,
he had this team. He had this team 2 seasons ago, and they finished fifth. This exact team:
Mhm.
Van Dijk,
Yep.
Konate, Alisson, Salah, all
This
of them finished
Javon,
fifth.
the same things we're criticizing Pep for, Jurgen Klopp did the same thing.
And then
yeah, no,
the following season, he was favored to win the Europa League and got up 3-0 by Atalanta at home.
And remember, this team, in the beginning of the season, everyone was expecting them to drop off because of how they crashed last season with Jurgen. Remember that. Last season, they were in the title race. They weren't supposed to be because of how they finished the season before that, struggling, and then they got up to Europa League towards the end. And then at the end, what happened? The last 7, 8 games of the season, they kept losing. They crashed out. So at that point, the media was saying Klopp basically ran this team down to the ground. They're done.
yeah, because of the style of football.
No, I
Now
believe
what does Arne Slot do? Brings him back.
I
And again, going to what Robert's saying, sorry, Robert, I keep interrupting, but going to what Robert's saying, in the 8 years that he's been there, look at the other managers, look at previous managers we've had in the Premier League, in the history of the Premier League. You can make an argument that Jurgen Klopp doesn't break into the top 5.
Antonio Conte came here against Pep and won the league in the first season against Pep Guardiola with us, Chelsea. I mean, Arne Slot comes in. You cannot tell me every player in that Liverpool team is an Arne Slot player. No way. Gravenberch is not an Arne Slot DM. Jota or Nunes are not Arne Slot strikers.
Nunes is not an honest striker. I know that.
Exactly.
Nunes is a nobody striker, to be honest.
Szoboszlai is not an Arne Slot number 10.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But what I would give him credit is I rate managers that will come and do best with what they got. Like Tuchel came with us, no transfer window, nothing, won us the Champions League. This manager comes, no transfer window, nobody comes in, and is top of the league. I rate those. I don't rate managers that requires a whole squad shift and all 22 players to be your players for you to work your magic. Because I can do that as well. I can go and say, you know what, get Coutinho out. You think Arne Slot would have gone with Coutinho or would have added on top of Coutinho? But Klopp comes and said, Coutinho is not my type of player. This is not my type of player. So let's bring this.
No. You're spreading false propaganda. Klopp wanted to keep Coutinho, but Coutinho wanted to go to Barcelona. Not gonna do this.
No, okay.
Coutinho begged that man to Klopp begged that man to stay, and he said it's Barcelona, so wanting a lifetime offer, and Liverpool took the money and invested it elsewhere.
No, that might fair is that may be. My overarching point is he required a whole a whole squad revamp and 4 or 5 years before he could win a major. I'm sitting here right now and telling you, a Real Madrid wouldn't have got the 5 years. It would have been sacked within 2 years. A Chelsea would have been sacked within 2 years. A PSG would have been sacked within 2 years. At Bayern Munich would have been sacked within 2 years. At Manchester United, he would have been sacked within 2 years. There is a reason why he chooses certain clubs to go to. Why? Because I don't believe he chooses clubs that have too much pressure to win. Liverpool does not have too much pressure to win.
I'm not hearing it. I'm going to try and reach out to a Liverpool fan to come on this show.
Oh, my days! Of course they're gonna. Because
I am not, and I repeat, one last time, I am not hearing it.
Why?
Klopp is an elite manager,
why?
top class manager.
Based on
and
what?
I rate him. Brother, do you think it's easy to go and change a culture of a club? Do you think it's easy to implement your style of play in a club down to the grassroots level and change something that was so bad before?
If you're given time, it is.
I'm not talking Liverpool. That one.
I will get. He's a charismatic leader. I will give you that. He's a charismatic leader, and he can galvanize a group of folks and motivate them. As far as a manager and a coach, I think he's just good.
When you look at the top 5 greatest Premier League managers of all time, Arsene Wenger, Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho, Sir Alex Ferguson, that 5th spot is up in the air. You could argue, there's a few managers you could argue that are in that 5th spot, and Klopp's is in that 5th spot. It's not, that's what I mean. It's not super decisive. It's debatable if Klopp is in that top 5. Because you could say Tuchel, for what he did in the short span of time that he was in this club.
I don't even think he's the greatest ever Liverpool manager.
No, he's not.
Wow.
No. I'm a football person. So me, I know the history of Liverpool. Liverpool has a lot of good managers, But he's definitely one of their better managers. I think Liverpool fans would put him top 5, top 6. You know, but I'm not having this Klopp slander. I am not having this Klopp slander. Before we go, because we're short on time, only got to cover 2 clubs. Marshall, you wanted to quickly have a word on Jackson?
Yeah, we need to stop slandering our players the moment they have one bad game and saying, "Oh, we need to get rid. He's not good enough," and get another player.
Speak on it.
Like, I'm so sick and tired of people keep bringing up Osimhen. And that's fine. I think Osimhen's a good striker. I think Osimhen in that game maybe provides us a different profile of striker that maybe the heading ability is good, right? And this is what frustrates me about the fan base, is the moment Jackson has a game like Everton, they're just ready to say, we can't win the league with this guy. We can't compete with this guy. We need Osimhen. We need Gyökeres. We need whatever. And meanwhile, I go over to Osimhen's stats and I go over to Osimhen's league, and the brother doesn't even have more goals than Jackson in the league. And he's supposed to be in a better league, in the best team in the league. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what are you telling me about Osimhen? Are we going to do the same thing with Osimhen when he comes to the club? If he comes to the club, the moment he misses 2 sitters, because let me tell you something. Strikers miss chances.
They miss more than they convert. If you're really looking at the
no striker in this game, whether you look at Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo, Portuguese Ronaldo, whoever you want to look at, no striker in this game has ever been 100% clinical. Strikers miss chances.
Brazilian Ronaldo was 100% clinical.
Believe it or not, Robert, Ronaldo misses chances too. Mm-hmm. And for me, it just baffles me because people want to say, "Oh, bring in Osimhen. Osimhen buries that chance and all that stuff." Sure. I can flip the role. And I can show you scenarios where Osimhen has missed clear-cut chances, and I can tell you the same thing. Oh, Jackson could have scored that. So let's stop. Stop.
I'm not even saying narrative. That. You know what I would say to flip that? Okay, does Osimhen give you the same level of dribbling? Does Osimhen give you the same level of link-up play? Does Osimhen create the same level of space that he creates? Does Osimhen turn his man the way he does? Listen, if a player has a bad game, you can fairly criticize them. When I say fairly criticize, simply criticize their performance and then analyze what they could have done better. Mm-hmm. What I'm not here for is the over-exaggeration.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Noni Madueke, Christopher Nkunku. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. In the same situation as what happened in the Everton game, I'm seeing people posted worst winger in the club, worst transfer we made in terms of Nkunku. I'm seeing people saying they shouldn't be here at all, and what was the point? And I'm saying we drew a game against Everton, and the attackers that played 90 plus minutes, 60 plus minutes, 70 plus minutes just get to escape with criticism. Mm-hmm. And the criticism you're giving is not even fair criticism to say, you know what, when Noni came on, he didn't beat his man. When Noni came on, his first touch was off. You're criticizing him on a 10-minute cameo because he didn't impact the game how you expected him to impact the game. If he came on and got 25 minutes and did absolutely nothing, I'm the first one that's going to say something, because what's the point of you being here, right?
Mm-hmm.
My issue with this entire thing is people are looking for reasons to give these players that played majority of the game excuses as, oh, Noni didn't come on or Nkunku didn't come on and do this, so that's why we lost. No, that's not how it works. Sancho had a bad game. I criticize Sancho for having a bad game, but that's it. You don't see me going on a tandem saying worst winger in the club. Oh, Sancho, all he does is flirt with his foreplay and this, that, and the third. No, it was just not his day, right? And Robert, you and I had a back and forth earlier. I don't think you understand what I was saying. If you criticize the player and his ability and what he does, fine, but don't criticize a man where you give him in the level of difficulty this game was, which everyone agree. You cannot give these players 10 minutes and expect them to come on and change the game. They're not Lionel Messi, they're not Cristiano Ronaldo, they're not these level of players. So you have to give them enough time to come in and actually try and affect the game. But have you ever played football? Bro, you know, if you get something, so you're lucky. You're lucky if you get 10 good touches if you're subbed in the latter games of the game. Because first you have to get up to speed. First you have to figure out who's there to support you if you're by yourself. And by the time you do that, the whistle's being blown. It will be the final whistle. No pun intended. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get where I'm coming from? So that's why I thought the criticism on those two players were disgusting. I think what Robert was talking about, bro, and I got so annoyed because it's not the person who was being criticized, it's the criticism. It just doesn't make sense. Where Robert was coming from, I think, is the quality of what he did when he came on. See, that criticism I hear all day.
That's fine.
That's fine, bro. If you don't criticize that person for it's mind-boggling.
It's the overreactions that get to me and that just rub me the wrong way, which is why I'm never really on Twitter that often, because I just can't stand a lot of the opinions that are just in that platform. It's just a toxic wasteland of horrible opinions for the most time. And it's just like when you're ready to throw the baby with the bathwater, that's when I'm like, bro, we can't have a discussion. I want to talk football. I want to talk actual analysis. I want to actually talk legitimately about the game and legitimate criticism. I'm not going to just throw away. I had someone in my comments the other day saying, oh, look, Jackson's purple patch is over. It's finally ending. I told you guys. And I'm like, brother, if his purple patch lasted from August till the new year, have as many purple patches as you want, because that's a bigger purple patch than Kai Havertz, the striker that we used to have here.
Facts.
That's a bigger purple patch than not Darwin Nunes, Luis Diaz, who just had his purple patch that lasted a month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
bro, if your purple patch gives me 9 goals and what 3 assists that he has, Jackson, right now,
yeah,
bro,
I'll take.
I'll give you the whole color book: magenta, violet, purple, royal blue, whatever you want.
All of that, bro.
Take all the purple patches.
Yeah.
No, I think first on Jackson, I think people just do a little too much. Maybe because he was only a 30 million pound signing, and so people always think, oh my God, he's not 100 million, so he can't be that good. And instead of thinking that, bro, we got this player who was massively talented on a cheap before he exploded. I guarantee you, the same player would have been here if we got Gyökeres from Coventry on 20 million pounds. They'd be like, nah, man, he's not at the level. We don't, 20 million pound striker. Who is he? Go give me Osimhen or Sesko for 100 million. And so I don't hear those opinions. Somebody that comes and tell me, oh, Jackson, does he still have stuff to improve on? Sure, he does.
Yeah.
Does he,
he's a developing player.
Yeah, Harry Kane wasn't Harry Kane at 22. Lewandowski wasn't Lewandowski at 22. Benzema wasn't Benzema at 22. Drogba wasn't Drogba at 22, 23. So what are we doing? He got an upside, bro. He's here until 2031, so get used to him. He ain't going nowhere. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
and if
saying?
he keeps performing well,
Yeah, and he keep doing, and you like, I guarantee you, when Pep sits there and watch our game, I guarantee Pep is like, I wish I had Jackson in my team over Haaland.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, Pep is looking at like, Slot probably looking at like, I wish I had Jackson over Darwin Nunes or Jota right now.
facts.
I ain't
Yeah.
even,
Jota isn't bad, but Jota
I
is injury
Yeah,
prone.
he's injury prone.
I
Yeah.
guarantee Real Madrid looking at that, and I was like, oh my god, I wish I had Jackson over Mbappe right now, because it's such a better fit with Vini
Hmm.
and
Rodrigo.
Rodrigo on the side, and
Yeah.
him dropping, supplying the line, linking up with Bellingham in the midfield. It's a dream, bro. You know how many clubs will desire a player of Jackson? I guarantee you, if Jackson
I
was
mean,
this way, scoring
yeah.
9 goals, playing this well for RB Leipzig, we'll be saying go splash 100 M's on him.
You don't even have to reverse the roles. You could just look at how our fan base are acting to John Duran right now.
Facts.
People are saying like, "Oh my God, we wish I had John
Yeah.
Duran."
Or
Meanwhile, remember how
Samu.
they were acting about John Duran and Samu
And Samu Williams.
before they even came to the club.
Exactly. And just 2 months ago, everybody was like, Enzo, man, sell him to Real Madrid. Sell him to
Yes,
whoever
look at
wants
how
him.
that tone
Yeah,
changed so quick.
Vindication,
can't wait.
bro. Vindication.
I can't wait for Andre Santos. Let's record Andre Santos
Yep,
in January
yep.
and come and play. And all of a sudden, oh my God, Enzo Fernandez. Cucurella. We used to slander him every single. They just
Bro
sell
didn't even
him,
get a
bro.
season to prove himself.
Who rates him over Chilwell? Blah blah blah. And
Oh,
now he's the most beloved Chelsea player in the scene. This is people don't register. And
yeah,
on the Noni side, the only thing I said is every single person in our attack had a bad game, no exception. Or
yeah.
every single
Everyone
one of
gets it.
them. The one that started, the one that came on. Unfortunately, this is where I'm going to disagree with you, Javon, that just because you came on 10 minutes, you don't have time to make an impact. I've seen plenty of subs. Giroud come on and make impact. I've seen, William, Pedro come on and make
Mm.
impact as wingers. So
Yeah,
you
but
can,
they got when they came on, they got more minutes to get up the speed of
no,
the game.
even
I'm
in 10
saying
minutes,
they did.
even in 10 minutes, the smart players, you sit on the bench and you watch the game and you can
Mhm.
analyze. I've seen Neto trying to beat this player over here. He can't do it. So that must be that player's strength.
Mhm.
So when I come on, I'm gonna take him on the other side.
That comes with experience, though.
But
You
that
have,
does come with experience.
Yeah, yeah,
that's what I
yeah.
said. You have an advantage just because you've been sitting on the bench. You come on in 10 minutes. Some players use that to their advantage. I've been
Mm.
watching the
Hmm.
game and I've been seeing Ashley Young, showing Sancho this side. Now
Yep.
that must be his strength. So I'm gonna take him the other side where he's weaker, and that's
Hmm.
that's that's just the way it is. Like everybody, I don't, just because you come on the 70th, 78th minute doesn't mean you can make an impact. That is your
I'm
point
not
to prove.
listen. I'm not
That's
saying you cannot
plenty.
make an impact. You are 100% right, and I'll give you that point. But Marissa could have made the subs earlier. That's
Yes,
Yeah,
basically
he
what
could
I'm
have.
yes.
saying.
That I be that as it may. And if
Hmm.
if he brought you on 30 minutes with 30 minutes left,
Yeah.
make an impact. If he brought you
Mm.
on with 15 minutes left,
Hmm.
make an impact. Don't just
Yeah.
say. And I
But
think the other thing was, I I don't know if I'm just the one that noticed it. Noni came on kind of sulking a little bit. Maybe because he
Yeah,
got
I saw that.
dropped.
I saw that.
He came on kind of sulking a
I
little
don't know if
bit.
it's because they
And
got.
that and that attitude right there is almost, it tells you he's not interested in making an impact into the game, because he's talking that he'd like a players that like, okay, this is a player that's up to it, will be out there getting ready. Like, this is, I'm about to show the manager that against Fulham, you ain't gonna drop me. Right now, I'm about to come in and be the difference maker for this guy. But nobody's coming on talking like, bro, you shouldn't have dropped me, man. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
look at me, man. I'm
Nkunku was
gonna,
the same.
yeah, I'm gonna come there. You only give me 12 minutes. What am I gonna do with that 12 minutes, man? Ah, man, forget. I'm just
I'm not
gonna
gonna
go out
lie.
there and run. Like
I'm
the
not
we
gonna
attitude
were
lie.
right there.
soaking.
That's
We
the
were
thing.
soaking with him. We were
Yeah,
soaking with
no,
him, though.
we were soaking with him because of the whole time factor. But
Yeah.
Nkunku was just the same.
Yeah, but that's what
Nkunku was the same.
that's
You
the
know,
point though.
no, I hear your point. Your point. They shouldn't be sulking. They should be
You
coming,
shouldn't, you
trying.
Yeah.
shouldn't
Yeah.
come on, and even if you've given 5 minutes, play as hard as you can, make an impact in those 5 minutes. That's how players.
I hear
That's
it. I
that's
hear
how
it.
players go from bench players to becoming starters. You know,
Yep.
you ain't gonna
I
just,
hear it. I hear it.
you ain't gonna just, impress the manager by, oh, I only play well when I start. When I come off the bench, I'm sulking because I don't think I should have been dropped. Like, then I guess Joao Felix shouldn't play next game, because if somebody's going to suck next game, it should be Joao Felix because he didn't even come on. And Palmer had one of the worst games. So if Joao
Yeah.
Felix should be sitting there like, what do I gotta do? Then
I hear it.
next training, it should be sulking the whole time. But
Yeah, I hear it.
there's competition. In some games, none of you gonna start, and Neto's gonna come on with 12 minutes left. In other games, Neto's gonna start, and none of you gonna come in with 12 minutes left. It's just how it goes.
Yeah,
That's
I
how
hear
life
it.
is.
I hear it. You're right. You're right. Whatever minutes you get, you gotta come in and give an impact.
Yeah, man.
I just genuinely think the way the game was going, that was one of the games where a little bit more time would have been better for whoever's coming in. But I hear
No,
it.
I agree with that. But as a player, you shouldn't sulk that you get 12
Yeah,
minutes. It's
yeah,
more than
yeah.
enough for a high level player to make an impact.
To do
It's not
something,
like he's
to
bringing you
create something.
on the 88th minute. There's still 12 minutes plus additional time left. So that's more than enough for you to get. And plus, we're dominating. It's not like you're coming on to defend.
Struggling.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, we're dominating possession. You're gonna get the ball isolating 1v1. Do your magic and let's go.
yeah, you're
Let's
right.
go.
Mhm.
You're
Go
right.
win us the game. It doesn't take. You don't require 12. Half an hour for you to go past somebody and put in a good cross. You can do that in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I hear it. And then I guess all of it has context because whoever was behind them weren't playing the best either. Cause Gusto, come on, bro. You see three people holding him. Why are you giving him the ball? Yes, none his touch was off, and that the criticism I 100% here, bro. You gotta do better, but bad man, you're seeing the play. Sancho is running free. You're like, you good, Sancho. Let me give it to Noni who's holding by three people, bro.
But none was
Uh
showing for it. None was showing for it.
but that's even why it's worse. If you have someone that's showing for the ball, don't you think the defenders pick it up as well? You know how much time. You know how much times I've seen at the high level. I've watched coaches interview. I've seen the insider for coaches. They tell certain players, everyone should be showing for the ball, but who's on the ball is supposed to make the right pass. So if we three are playing and Robert shows for the ball, but I see Robert being marked, and Marshall is free. There's no in hell I'm going to pass the ball to you just because you showed for the ball.
If I'm Robert Sanchez, I'm passing it to Robert.
And
Under
I'd be
pressure,
like-
man. Come on.
I would be
Diamond
like,
makes
yeah,
pressures.
yeah.
Do the Lavia turn.
Yeah, first time pass out to another teammates. Not trying to control it 5 times with three touches with three defenders ending me. Like you give it the ball first time, but they're superstar.
Robert's booted it.
Flick.
I'm not
Like
pushing
Zidane
it, man.
style.
Like,
Flick.
Flick
Flick
I'm
back.
not pushing it. Like I already see the pass before the ball gets to me. So you
Bro,
can't
you
that-
don't know
that's
this
it.
about Robert Javon. He's press resistant.
Bro, listen.
You should know that right now, bro. You should know that right now.
Press resistant. What you say, Robert? You have technical ability.
You're supposed to have technical ability, my friend.
Yeah, and Robert was only 30 million pounds, man. So don't criticize him if he doesn't get one. All right.
Free transfer. Free transfer.
Free transfer.
I'm
Free
tossing.
transfer.
I'm tossing.
There you go.
I'm tossing out here.
Yeah, you better make sure you have a performance like that again this week, bro.
All right, boys. I know we're short on time. We're gonna wrap this right here. Thank you for joining us on the Sideline View. Really good episode. I don't sound like a transformer this week, so this will be out. All right, boys. Let them know where they can find you.
Me over on Casually FC. I'm usually streaming Wednesdays and Sundays or Thursdays and Sundays, match reviews, Casually Chelsea show, which is a recap of the week's news, and a bunch of other stuff. So go ahead and check me out on YouTube, Twitter, all that stuff. Casually FC TV or Casually FC.
He will be linked in the description, and I will try to. I think there's a thing in YouTube where I can link the Robert video in one of these corner screens or some.
Oh yeah. I
yeah.
did an interview with the Chelsea Hour show with Robert. So check that out,
I'll
too. That's a
find
good
it and I
conversation.
will try and link it. Robert,
Yeah.
where they can find you trolling
Yeah,
people
man.
and
I do not troll. I only give correct takes.
Oh!
Opinions.
Wow.
Factual opinions.
That's the factual opinion. I'm hardly ever wrong. That's it. I'm hardly ever wrong. Just go through my text and you'll see. Just go through my text, you'll see.
Robert, this is Robert when he enters Twitter every morning. Bow to me, peasants.
I'm about to rattle some souls to hear today.
Oh my
Oh
god.
boy.
Yo, scout souls after what happened today.
Oh boy. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
Thank you for joining us. Please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. Up the likes, up the views. We gone. Peace.
Up the charts. Peace, man.
Up the tells. Peace.